when I joined Client Ascension, they looked at the previous results, specifically Daniel. We settled on 1,000 followers on Twitter. Now I'm doing 750 followers, 5 leads a week. Having that offer in place makes it easier when I'm explaining my service to clients on a sales call because I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've done it before. So yes, the offer side of everything is massive.
What's going on, guys? Andre Hagel Jr. here from Client Ascension, back with another student spotlight interview. Here with my man Logan. How's it going, brother?
What's up, Andre? Doing well. How about you?
Good, man. So I'm pumped to unwrap this story. You've been one of our most successful students in the program, and you're also now doing some work with us over at our software company called ListKit in a really unique role. And so I just want to go all the way back to the beginning. You joined Client Ascension in November 2023, so around a year and a half ago at this point. You were one of the students that joined, left for a little while, and then eventually found their way back. But if we just were to do some quick statistics for the audience before we get into the story, what I have is you joined around $4,000 in revenue, and now you're at around $13,000 in revenue with 6 clients, 5 to 7 sales calls coming in every single week. As a starting place, if you could just get into a little bit about yourself, what's your business, what's your offer, what do you help people with?
Yeah, so I own LinkedIn Ghostwriting agency. So basically I write for other founders, CEOs, business owners, and yeah, we write their LinkedIn content. I do a little bit of Twitter content on the side. And yeah, the offer is getting people new followers that eventually convert to leads.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and so you started with Twitter, I remember, when you were first in the program, and you've made more of a transition over to LinkedIn. Are you just seeing better results over there? Does your content style match LinkedIn's audience better? Like, what went into that?
Yeah, there's a few reasons for that. So LinkedIn is just easier because you only post once a day, whereas like Twitter, you got to post at least like 3 times a day to get any sort of traction. So it's just easier on that end. It's easier to get results because everyone there's in the business world, and I was working specifically with business owners. So it's easier to stand out, especially when it's really saturated there. There's a lot of AI junk that goes on. And then obviously, instead of like Twitter kind of being like a middleman, LinkedIn is like directly to the business owners. So it's a lot easier to generate leads and book calls that eventually like led to clients that were actually qualified. Whereas Twitter, you'd have to sort through that a little bit more and reach a lot broader of an audience.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like with Twitter, like, you're talking to other people that do what you do almost, rather than talking to the end customer. And so like the numbers might look good on Twitter, but if you kind of unravel it, it's not who you actually wanted to attract in the first place. Whereas LinkedIn obviously is the go-to platform for businesses. Let's talk a little bit about where were you at, if you could even remember, November 2023, you're either in business or just getting into business. How did you hear about Client Ascension, and why did you join?
Yeah, good question. So why I joined Client Ascension, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I saw a bunch of results from you guys on Twitter, actually, and I knew my business like needed to become an actual business, whereas I was just doing a lot of freelance work. So you guys were kind of the first people. I decided I was going to go all in on this. I really believe that God was kind of pushing me towards that because I talked to Daniel. And I said, no, I don't even need to go on a sales call with the team. Like, I'm ready to join. Just send me the payment link. And honestly, that's one of the best business decisions I've made. Where I started off was I had a Twitter ghostwriting agency, sort of, more so doing freelance work. And I was actually writing for anonymous accounts and just trying to build them up so they could sell retweets. And then Elon kind of started to shut that down. And it became a lot more of an organic platform on Twitter. So I really wasn't able to do that anymore, but I did have a little bit of the writing knowledge, account growing knowledge. So I kind of went into that. So I did have, like you said, I was making a little bit of money with a few clients, super inconsistent. And yeah, I started joining, or when I joined Client Ascension, they're like, yep, okay, you're going to do ghostwriting. And you're going to start writing for business founders and stuff and use your past results as kind of a get in for that. But yeah, when I was like actually starting that, or when I joined Client Ascension, I honestly didn't have any business, no agency, no nothing. I didn't have any clients, starting from nothing.
Very cool, man. Yeah, very cool. And that's kind of like what most backgrounds are when they join a coaching program like Client Ascension, is like they've done work, they've made money. The most important part of all of this actually is the skill set. Like you were acquiring skill sets and you're using them in different fashions to generate some level of income. Now the next step, or the next evolution for you, was actually creating a business around those skill sets. So like, how did Client Ascension help you to do that? Like, how did you go from like just doing side gigs and freelance work to creating a business? Like, for someone listening in, like, what does that actually look like? What does a business look like compared to what you had before?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say a lot of it is systems. Being able to repeat what you're doing for clients on the result side, but also being able to repeat what you're doing on the acquisition side of getting clients. So yeah, actually setting up those systems. The only reason I have an agency nowadays, even setting up things like a website, acquisition channels, like sending DMs, cold email. So setting up those things was the ability to actually go and sign clients. And then on the results side of things, going on sales calls. I was terrible at sales. I started when I was a few years ago. I started when I was, I think, 16, and I was deathly afraid of going on sales calls and doing stuff like
Oh yeah.
that. Being able to have the confidence to actually go on sales calls was a big motivator for me to be able to do that, I guess. And then yeah, there's other things like setting up automations and stuff like that. There's just a lot of things that go into it that you don't realize when you're doing freelance work. When you're doing freelance work, especially in my niche, I could go and send a Google Doc to someone and that would be the work. But it's a lot different.
And I feel like a big part of it revolves around the offer, right? Because when you're doing freelance work, an offer to someone might be, I'll write, 3 emails for you. And then an offer to someone else might be, I'll write your tweets for a month. And then an offer to someone else might just be, I'll do coaching and I'll review your account and give you a couple of tips to implement to get followers. So like, I know the offer is a big part that Client Ascension teaches and helps out with. Like Daniel Fazio is obviously the offers coach in the program. So like, how did your offer solidify itself into something that was more of like a repeat business type thing?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, like you said before, when you're doing freelance work, and especially for me, I was trying to get clients in any possible way just to make some money so that it could build the business up. So I was doing things like creating Google Docs for people of how to do what I did. I was doing the actual done for you service. I was doing paid ads even to grow accounts. It was all over the place. Then when I joined Client Ascension, they looked at the previous results, specifically Daniel, and we settled on 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's how it kind of started. And now I'm doing 750 followers, 5 leads a week on LinkedIn. And that having that offer in place is so much easier because then I can hire a team potentially and they know exactly what they have to do every single time. It makes it easier when I'm explaining my service to clients on a sales call because I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've done it before. So yes, the offer side of everything is massive.
Yeah, it's what everything pours into. Even on the marketing, the cold email side, it's not like you're switching the offer every time you're emailing someone, and same with DMs and same with your content. So that's awesome. I guess in the beginning of the program, so we talked about offers, we talked about getting different outreach systems going, we talked about improving how you show up on sales calls, we talked about the actual fulfillment systems of like doing the same thing over and over and over again. Who were some of the coaches, I guess, who helped you out early on? Because the unique thing about Client Ascension is it's not like you only work with me or you only work with Daniel. I mean, we have 18 different expert coaches that host live calls on a weekly basis. Like, was that something that you took advantage of?
Yeah, for sure. So one especially that I found value in was Lucas Sinot. So he's the landing page coach there. And because I had done no previous work besides kind of writing content, I had no idea how to even set up a landing page in the slightest as far as copy goes, as far as actually using like Framer or whatever to set up a site, Figma. So he was massive in actually helping set that up. Otherwise, I would have spent days on that. Daniel Fazio, I got a ton of value from him in actually setting up an offer that was what people wanted at that time. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones like David that
On the sales side?
Yeah, on the sales side that helped me a ton. But yeah, I used a lot of the work or a lot of the coaches. And then there's also a few that I didn't use at all. But now I'm actually using them because my business has grown and now they're relevant to me. So it kind of hits you on all sides of where your business is at.
Yeah, that I want to talk about that a little bit as well, because your story is unique in the fact that you joined in November 2023, but you haven't been in the program ever since then. There was a time when you left. Essentially, you took a break from being in the program, and then you recently joined back. And it's something that we see a lot of, actually. Like, clients will join, they'll get what they need out of it in the beginning, they'll go out into the real world again, implement a bunch of stuff, and then they'll come back with new problems that they're facing. And the great part about Client Ascension is it's not just a program for beginners. We've helped people that started at zero. And just recently, we have a case study with a company that went from 400K to 500K a month. And at our own businesses, we recently just achieved $1 million a month. So like, we can help from 0 all the way up until $1 million a month. I always say we can help as much as we've been able to help ourselves, not past that. So we'll never advertise results or say we could do something that's outside of what we've done ourselves in business. And our businesses are not the coaching program. We have a software company, which obviously you do work for, and other things as well, like an agency. But anyways, we can help from 0 to $1 million a month. And so what was that process like for you of like leaving initially to go out and implement a bunch of things you learned, or maybe just to take a break, like coaching wasn't for you at the time? And then like what brought you back?
Yeah, good question. So the reason I left actually was because I got married. So I had a period of time where I was planning the wedding and then actually getting married, and just had to take a break from it because of that. But also, yeah, it did give me some time to implement a few more of the things that I learned. And then ultimately decided to come back, a large part actually because of just the community of people that are there. I love talking to specific people in the community outside of even the coaches just to get some value. But yeah, I really like the community side of things. And then it's just a few other coaches, especially like the sales coach right now, David, that I'm continuing to learn from and update my sales process, was a reason that I wanted to come back and kind of update that because sales is continually changing. So yeah, there's a period obviously where I left and stuff, but ultimately came back because there's so much more value that is there
Yeah.
for whenever your business kind of needs to upgrade.
There's always opportunities, and like that's a big part of being in business is you have to give yourself as many opportunities to get lucky and to enter into that next growth phase as possible, because it's rare. But in client ascension, let's talk a little bit about like the community, right? Because there's a lot of deals that happen within the community. Like I know some students I've had on interviews like this sign like most of their clients right within the program just through networking and providing value. But then there's also opportunities like what you recently jumped on over at our software company ListKit, right? We're hiring for an important role at ListKit on the partnership side of things. And I posted an opportunities, and like, had you not been in client ascension, that opportunity probably would have not made its way to you. So just by being in the program, you landed a really cool gig at ListKit. So maybe speak on a little bit like opportunities that you find throughout the community and how that's added to the ROI of just being in a program that's also teaching you what to do to grow your core business.
Yeah, this has been a huge factor in actually getting my business off the ground, especially in the beginning when it's really hard to get clients if you don't have any results, which is where I was when I first joined the program. But yeah, in the opportunities section, there's a few times where, hey, I'm looking for a copywriter, I'm looking for a Twitter ghostwriter. And I was able to sign 3 or 4 clients within, I don't know, 6 months from that and continued to keep them on. So that was just incredibly massive to getting my first like real experience with other business owners, getting some results. And yeah, everyone in there is awesome where they're trying to refer you new people just because that's what the community really tries to help with, and get you new clients. That's what client ascension is partly about, is signing new clients, obviously.
Yeah.
And the community helps with that largely. But yeah, the opportunities are just amazing, and that's how I got into ListKit and do content and partnerships for you guys now.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and you've been crushing it, and it's cool to just see like how you're applying a lot of what you've learned into the different aspects of your business. The last thing, there's 2 more things I want to ask you about. The one of them is just your relationship with Andy. And for those of the audience that don't know who Andy is, that's just your student success coach. That's a unique aspect of the program we added in around a year and a half ago as well. So I think either before you joined or right after you joined, it became part of the program. And what that is it's a dedicated coach that works with you to just really not like hold you accountable to doing all the things you said you were going to do and just like get as much out of the program as possible. So they're not necessarily like business owners and experts in that regards, but they're more so like experts at making sure you're staying true to your word, you're getting all of your action items completed, you're showing up to the coaching calls that make sense at the time, you're going through the different training videos in the learning platform that makes sense at the time. What's that relationship been like, working with a student success coach?
Yeah, I think someone especially like Andy has just been awesome to work with. He's such a nice guy. He's entertaining at the same time. And yeah, we hold obviously like monthly conversations where we're reviewing our goals for that month, for the year as a whole. And then yeah, keeping me accountable, especially for me, I'm willing to do the work a lot of the time, but sometimes I just need a little push in the right direction or kind of an outline of what I need to do. Otherwise, I'll just kind of go in circles, be checking my email a ton of time, looking for new like inbound leads on Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever that may be, when I should be doing the outbound stuff, which is kind of what they've set up for me so that I have the processes in place. So that since I have the processes in place, I can go and repeat that, and I know exactly what I need to do, so I can go and do that actually. And that's what Andy's really helps me with a lot.
That's awesome, man. Love it. Love it. Well, the last question for you, Logan, because you offer a service that is extremely valuable, obviously, to some of our businesses. So I can say that with full confidence. And then also to businesses that are in client ascension and even watching this that are not in client ascension. If you could just speak more on your offer and where our audience can find you and follow you to learn more.
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter at Logan T. Gott. I got my website, gottcontent.com. And then, yeah, we offer obviously LinkedIn ghostwriting content. We will write up 20 pieces of content within the month. Grow your following, send out DMs and stuff for you guys to actually convert those followers and make some clients. So, yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome, man. Well, Logan, thanks so much, brother. Congrats on all of the results and the success you've had so far in your business and in your personal life as well, with the marriage and everything, and being able to balance all those things at such a young age. Continued to be impressed by you, bro. So thanks for being a part of the Client Ascension community. And for anyone listening, if you're in Client Ascension, shoot Logan a DM. It's the best place to connect with him, right there in the Slack community. But if you're not in Client Ascension, definitely check it out at clientascension.com. You can find all the information there. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching.